even me, I'm so familiar with diasporic communities in America. Like when I came out to Asia, I realized that a lot of stuff I thought was not fully true.
ABG, what's
Asian
that?
baby girl, Asian baby gangster.
Oh.
This is like from the Asian American world. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I wasn't hitting up any Asian baby girls in Boston, that's for sure. Would you say there are a lot of other Asians there or just Thai? Because when I went, I feel like it was mostly Thai.
I saw some, you saw the mainland Chinese guy from Dongbei that was dripped out in like Burberry Balenciaga.
Yeah, they definitely have a look.
Like logo mania head to toe outfit cost like $3,000 US, but they didn't put any product in their hair. Hi, this is David from the Fung Bros, and you are watching One Night in Bangkok.
What is up, guys, and welcome back to the One Night in Bangkok podcast. If you guys are new here, my name is Eric. I'm here with my favorite Bangkok podcast girl, Ern.
Hi.
If you are moving to Thailand soon, if you want to live here, if you want to visit this beautiful country, hit the subscribe button. We've got so many cool people coming up that are coming through Bangkok. We don't want you to miss anything. Make sure you check us out on Apple and Spotify podcasts if you want the audio-only version. We have a clips channel you can check out. And if you want to support the channel, you can buy us a coffee down below. Tonight, we have all the way from America. Is America the greatest country in the world, or is it Thailand now?
Oh man, I just really think it depends on your situation. But I think increasingly for a lot of people, it might be flipping.
David from the Fung brothers.
What's going on, guys?
Now, if people haven't seen you before, I know a lot of people have seen you because they comment on our videos. Oh, David's in Bangkok. You should have him on. You are an American YouTuber, podcaster. Can you talk a little bit about your channel and what it's about?
I mean, long story short, we've had this channel for about 12 years in America between LA and New York, and it's got 2.2 million subscribers, and it really primarily focuses on the Asian American culture, but I've definitely explored a lot of other cultures. We were talking about, I did an Armenian food video in Glendale before, so it's like, it's just about analyzing things that I think probably in school you're not taught to analyze. But primarily, obviously I'm Asian, so it's like more focused on the Asian society.
It's interesting because I don't feel like I'm your target audience, but I was watching your channel before we started talking, before you came here. I've seen a bunch of your videos. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know, but but you do live in Asia though.
I do, and I am American, so it's kind of that crossover. But I find kind of the cultural topics really interesting, even if they're not directly related to me. Like you talk a lot about what it's like being an Asian American guy in America.
Yeah, no, for sure. That's like a topic that I think that, I'll say like that's like probably the most, common topic on our channel. Because I just figure nobody else is going to talk about it, Like I like to say the harsh truth or the unspoken truth. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people don't like to say things because they're like, I never really had a real career outside of entertainment. Like obviously I had jobs in college and stuff like that. Some of them were even serious jobs, you know what I mean? But I never had a career. So I feel like I'm not like chained by those like sort of like artificial guidance walls, that like HR and stuff like that. Like my mind is just like really free.
So you started this 12 years ago?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
How old were you at that time? 12 years
I was like early 20s, yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy to think about because this has been going for like 12 months and it feels like an eternity. So I can't imagine doing something for 12 years.
Yeah. Well, would you agree that it made your life more dense and more lush? You know what I mean? Like, how like life is sort of lived by, I don't know, I don't want to get too poetic.
Well, it's interesting. It's a good reason to meet interesting people, to have new experiences. Your show, you have a partner, is that right?
It's my brother, yeah.
Oh, it's your brother.
Yeah, it's my biological brother.
Yeah. You know what? I think I knew that and then forgot.
I thought you were twins.
Yeah.
So I checked and I was like, are they twins? Could be.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Full brothers, that's why it's like, I'm just like the wide one. He's like the skinny one. Brothers is like that though. But so I think that, he's in New York right now. So check us out. Like we're going to be doing like, because we've been talking about Asian culture for so long, it makes sense that one of us isn't in Asia.
Yeah. So I want to get to why you came over here, but you said you started this in LA?
Yeah, I started in Los Angeles. There was a huge YouTuber boom. I don't know if you guys remember like Ryan Higa or like Kev Jumba. These guys at one point were like top 10, top 5.
Yeah.
This
You're
is
like
pre
a whole other generation of YouTubers. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
So why did you go to LA?
I mean, I moved from LA from Seattle basically after I graduated college just to chase the YouTube dream. You know, I knew I didn't want to get a regular job, but prior to that, you know, anybody rising up in Hollywood, let alone an Asian guy, was super hard. You know what I mean? Like probably, and then there was just not a lot of slots and nobody knew how to do it. And then, you know, people are like, reality TV puts you on a different lane in your career if you do that. I mean, very few people have been able to lateral that. So I was like, you know what, I got a lot to say. I don't mind self-producing my own content. Let's go with YouTube.
It's interesting to me that you thought, oh, I have to move to LA if I want to make it on YouTube. Because I thought one of the interesting things about YouTube is you can kind of do it from wherever you are.
But at that time, all the network, like if you wanted to do a big collab with somebody else who had like, you know what I mean? Like you have 10,000 subscribers. I mean, still to this day, a lot of influencers still move to LA. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, and the rest of them are moving to Bangkok.
Yeah.
As we find out.
Yeah, similar like Bangkok.
I guess I'm being stereotypical and falling into that same trend, right?
Okay, so you're in LA and then you moved it to New York?
Yeah, and then we moved to New York like several times. Like I would like spend a year in New York, come back to LA, and I just didn't really know where to fully find my footing. You know what I mean? Once there was like a big Asian American YouTube boom that like kind of died out like 7 years ago. I mean, like all those people, they still have careers, but they're just not like as hot as they were, getting as many views or as many college shows as they were. You know, so I just think our channel has always been about culture. So I was like, let me come out here and you know, we were talking earlier off camera. It's like, I've got a chance to go to Vietnam, you know, Cambodia, different parts around Thailand so far. So it's like, it makes sense because otherwise you're just like kind of talking about the idea of being Asian in the West, but you're not really like here. Yeah.
So before this trip, you had never been to Thailand.
I'd never been to
Thailand. So
Thailand.
why did you choose Thailand? Because your background, are you Chinese?
Yeah, I'm Chinese. Okay. My dad's from Hong Kong. My mom's from northern China.
And you do speak Chinese?
Yeah, I speak Mandarin.
Oh, really?
Mandarin.
Yeah, I speak Cantonese too, but like not Mandarin, but better than Cantonese. So I guess like it's been interesting because like, you know, there's so many Chinese people in South. I mean, I think there was always a lot of Chinese people in Southeast Asia, but there's another wave from like Beijing that came in like in the past like 15 years. So when I was in Cambodia, everybody's speaking Mandarin to me. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I don't, so I'm like, oh, am I?
Yeah, I want to talk about your Cambodia trip.
As like a Chinese national.
Chinese, because you're look.
So,
yeah.
but why did you choose Thailand to come this trip?
Like you mean just to come for a couple? Yeah, guys, I've only been here for like 2 months and some change, right? Like I would just say, just literally based off everybody's YouTube videos.
Oh yeah.
And knowing people in New York, like I actually know a lot of Thais in New York that opened up restaurants. And some of those restaurants are based off restaurants out here or cafes out here. And I didn't even know that because I was just in New York, like going to all their spots. And then finally I came out here. I was like, oh, they based that, you know, that like bus driving food tour thing. They based that off something that already existed in Bangkok, but they have that in Brooklyn now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But it's like a bunch of, you know, like hipster international Thai kids moving in New
Always
York.
Stealing other people's culture. Those dirty hipsters. Okay, I got you. So I actually can relate because the reason I didn't know anything about Thailand before I came. I knew like.
Did you have that? You know, a lot of Americans, they are thinking of pretty much like The Hangover.
I came here, I think, before that came out, or I never saw it at least before I came here. The thing that got me to come here was I saw a picture on Instagram of this was back when Instagram was like more about photos than reels, but it was of a beautiful temple in Ayutthaya. That's like the ancient, the old capital with all the temples. And I'm like, oh, I got to go there. I was like, it was at sunrise. I'm like, I want to go there at sunrise. And I told my girlfriend, she's like, okay. And then
was your girlfriend?
No, she's American she was, at the time. This was back when I was living in Boston. I'm like, I want to go there.
So you literally just went off that photo.
That was
like
one.
you had an emotional reaction.
So that was
to
one thing. And then
photo.
we went to a travel show in Boston at like the convention center. And they have like all different countries. And we knew we wanted to go somewhere, but we didn't know where. And, you know, you go to the Turkey booth and they tell you about, oh, this is why Turkey is so cool. And you go to like Vietnam and they're like, oh, what, you know, whatever. The Thailand booth didn't really have a display. They had VR goggles. And again, this was like 8 years ago. So it wasn't as much of a thing. And they said, here, put this on. And I put it on. I was like in a boat. I was in a temple. My girlfriend can't see what I'm seeing. And I'm like, oh God, we're going here. And then that was it. We booked the ticket. That was my first week trip in Thailand.
Dude, that is such a crazy like story. Cause you never think that like, you know, like conventional tourism marketing works.
Yeah.
But it worked.
Actually, I was watching some of your videos earlier and you brought something up. You were talking about pad thai and you were talking about like, I don't know, how most people in Thailand don't eat pad thai and it's a little different.
It's true.
I don't know if you know this. I think, guys, tell me if I'm wrong. I think that pad Thai was an invention of the Thai government to spread Thai culture around the world because they needed a dish that was easy to make in like every country, that was really also easy for like foreigners to appreciate, because foreigners won't necessarily appreciate like every time Thai food. So they invented it.
They invented it for foreign consumption?
I believe so, yeah.
Could be. But actually, there's also another one that it's hard to make. It's called Tom Yam Goong, which is
That's the shrimp soup.
Yeah, they
Spicy
consider
shrimp soup.
it's like the first one, like, you know, top like Thai food that you have to try, but actually Thai people don't eat it in daily life that much. Same as pad Thai.
When do you guys eat Tom Yam Goong? Like, is that a wedding?
Well, could be for a dinner, a proper dinner with family. Could be like that, but not like, you know, it's not a quick thing to eat. So
yeah, I mean,
that's why.
To you guys' point, like even me, I'm so familiar with diasporic communities in America. Like when I came out to Asia, I realized that a lot of stuff I thought was not fully true. Like, I don't know if you've ever had 7-course beef. It's like a Vietnamese like wedding dish. I used to eat that all the time in the US, and they told me that dish barely even exists in Vietnam anymore. Like all the people who cooked it left during the war.
Really?
You know what I mean? So they were just like, so it's a wedding dish in America, in the Vietnamese American diasporic community, but in Vietnam, it's quite rare to actually.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because you know, there's the movements of people, and there's lost recipes, and like the people who like this thing, and then they're moving to a land that has more beef utility. You know what I mean? The beef is more plentiful.
I like learning about this stuff. You know, that's why I think that's one of the reasons I was watching your show, because you talk a lot about like cultural stuff. So even if I'm not Asian, you know, I still like hearing what it's like to be in an Asian family, or to like, you know, to have that kind of experience. So that's why I thought it was funny when you were talking about pad Thai, pad Kaphrao. You're like, oh, everybody seems to be eating Kaphrao here.
So
like,
what's your favorite for Thai food?
Ooh, that's a good question. You know, I don't know. I don't want to say pad Kaphrao because then that's just like.
It's okay. That's what I'm gonna say.
You gonna say pad Kaphrao? Did you go to Mark Ween spot?
No, but it's actually right over here. Yeah, I haven't been there.
I went. I got the. Have you been to Phed Mark?
Yep.
What'd you think?
But usually I order online. I don't go there.
What do you give it out of 10?
Because it's very long queue, so I just order it online.
What do you give it out of 10?
For me, I would say 7.
Okay.
But because I like it more sweet, but for Phed Mark, it's really like, you know, spicy, like to burn spicy for me. But I like more sweet.
Do you eat spicy or no?
I give it a 7.85.
Really?
But I see what you're saying. I'm like more in agreement with you.
Yeah.
Do you like spicy food or not so much?
I like it like medium. Like, you know what I mean? Like I like it, but I just can't. Even with Chinese stuff like Sichuan stuff that's all red oil, I can't. Okay. It's not my thing to always get the 5 out of 5 spicy.
Okay. I didn't eat anything spicy before I came here, and I slowly got acclimated to it.
So where are you at?
No,
like,
I'm like,
what is your love for spicy?
I'm at the point now where like we were getting food the other night, and if they'll ask sometimes, do you want it spicy? And if I say like, I don't want it like full Thai spicy, I want it like 60% Thai spicy, and then they bring it to me, and it's just like there's nothing, because they think, oh, I'm a white guy, I'm not gonna want it.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have the reverse problem now.
Because he's afraid to say spicy, it's gonna be like Thai spicy. So it should be like you say spicy but Farang, you know.
Oh, that's
so
funny.
not spicy at all, but spicy for Farang.
Right.
And like have you been ordering food on like Food Panda or Grab?
Right, yeah.
So if I order on there, I'll get it a certain way. But then if I go to the restaurant and I order, they look at me and then they make it differently.
Right.
But what about you? Because I always think whenever I talk to like an Asian American friend who's in here, I'm curious about their experience here. Because when Thai people look at you, is it hard for them to figure out what's going on?
I think they just think, some think that I'm Thai, and some people think that I'm like Thai Chinese, or like, you know what I mean? Like you could be.
I feel like you could be anything.
I could be anything. Yeah. So really like, yeah, because my dad's Southern Chinese, my dad's like a little bit Southeast Asian, my mom's like a little bit other things.
Do they think you're American easily, or is that?
Nah, I would say that it varies per country. Like in Vietnam, they have a very strong sense of, because the Vietnam War was like with America, and you know, one side lost everybody, so they actually really understand what like a Vietnamese born American person is. But I don't think Thailand had a gigantic diaspora to America.
Right.
Like very, very little. I think like 1% of Asian Americans are Thai. So do you know what I'm saying? Like they don't really know. So when they look at me and I just say like America, then they're like, huh? Hong Kong, Singapore?
Yeah.
So I think that's the only thing that makes sense to them of like a fluent English speaker.
The top one that Thai people might think maybe Singapore first.
I found being here because in America we have this idea of like, okay, you're American, but then your family was originally from somewhere else. I find that here that idea doesn't really exist. It's like you're something, and if I say I'm American, or if I say I'm like half Italian or something, they say, oh, you're from Italy. I'm like, no. Like my dad's family is, blah blah blah. Oh, your dad's from it. Well, it's like it's complicated for them.
Right.
But
does anybody ever think you're half Asian? Because your hair is like as dark as mine.
Really?
Almost. Like your eyebrows are like as dark or black. Right?
And I don't think I get that. No,
You never have gotten half Asian at all. But you don't think that he could be half Asian?
Really? No, I don't think I've gotten that.
could
I get
be.
the number one thing Thai people think I am is French, and if I say American, they're confused.
But how does that make it? Do French people have? Is your hair like black?
Just the look, maybe.
I don't know. I think it's just maybe the look or the way I dress, but they definitely don't think American. And I wondered, why is that? And I realized, I think Thai people or Asian people have a very specific idea of what Americans look like.
Anglo.
And I think to them, they either look like, I was going to say Bradley Cooper, but is he,
Yeah, Bradley
is he
Cooper.
American or Australian?
No, he's American.
Okay. Bradley
He has the
Cooper
Philly cheesesteak spot.
or like some big fat guy.
Well, they're not thinking about like, because you look Mediterranean, right? Or
Yeah.
like you're part of, I guess,
True.
I don't know if you count as Middle Eastern, if you have some roots, if you count Armenian as that. I know there's some debate,
I'm half
whatever.
Italian, half Armenian.
I know there's
Yeah, we're
debate
talking
about that, but like, I guess like they're thinking of like a Scandinavian or
exactly.
Anglo-Saxon person.
So I find it with a lot of Thai people, this like confuses them. But I can imagine for you, if they say, where are you from? And what do you say? How do you answer that question?
I usually say American, and then I'll just say like Hong Kong or China. Like it's weird when you're Chinese right now. There's so much like, you know what I mean? Like there's so much that goes along with that word, and it's like, because like it's been framed negatively and stuff like that. So it's like sometimes I'm like, all right, should I just say Hong Kong? Because I don't want to get It's gonna make me feel weird if they give a negative reaction.
But
if I say
you're
Chinese.
going multiple levels deep. I feel like if you say American, I don't know, Ern, what do you think? Do you think most Thai people would be like, oh yeah, you're American, or would they be confused?
No, just for me, I'm not confused because you say you're American and the way you talk just like American. So, oh yeah,
Okay.
you American, you may be Asian but born and raised in America. So just that.
I've definitely met people though that would look at someone like you and be like, oh, you're Chinese, but you live in America. And that's not it. It's more nuanced than that.
I guess it doesn't really bother me because I've lived in the suburbs in America, you know what I mean? Like outside of the main, sort of educated metropolitan city centers. And like people still think, they still kind of treat me like I'm Chinese anyway too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like obviously, I mean, it's a variance, you know what I mean? Like not at University of Washington where I went, that never happened. But
interesting. Because like for me as an American, like we have more in common than like some random Chinese guy on the street, I think.
For sure, yeah, because we grew up probably the same. You did square dancing in public school too, right? Like that was like a national thing, right?
Maybe. But like even the way you talk, like you're from, or you spent time in New York, but like I think Ern picked up on, even the way we talk is a little similar. So I don't know, just like little
Super
things
fast.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I guess what you realize is the rest of the world, they're a little bit, because they're not from like these mixed societies where the identity is sort of like not tied to an ethnicity, at least in terms of like how it's taught in school, you know, like everybody's on the same footing. But like in other countries, I guess like there is ethnicity that comes with that country, right?
Yeah, I guess I'm just curious because, as an Asian American in Asia, I'm curious about like, do you feel like you get treated better or worse in any situations or different?
It's for sure way different than being white. Like it is probably, I just can't even, I've never even been treated white before in my life. So but I'm imagining it's super different.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. Because like I hear like ni hao a lot, like.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from like Thai people too, but they don't do it in the way like to be racist. They might have just learned Mandarin in school for like a semester or something. Like when I'm playing basketball, like Benchikiti.
It's interesting how they even make that jump because if I feel like I wouldn't even know if you're Japanese or Vietnamese or whatever.
Yeah.
So
no, I heard konnichiwa and like annyeonghaseyo before too. But like, yeah.
Can you imagine in America?
Most people.
Can you imagine?
I also like to say like that, to the customer that come to the restaurant, just to like, just very little, and they kind of, feel great, and you can impress them.
Yeah, no, I agree. I get it. But can you imagine in America if you walked into a restaurant and just a local white girl working at the restaurant was like, ni hao? Like, that would be like bad, I think. If she just looked at you.
It's bad in America for
How
sure.
bad?
And it's like, but in a technical way, it's about the intention behind it.
Right. I
Like
get
if
it.
I was
Yeah,
in the Midwest and this girl just took Mandarin and she's like, man, we never have anybody
Yeah,
that
yeah.
looks like you come through. So I just said ni hao. I don't think I would say ni hao back and like start speaking Mandarin with her, but I wouldn't necessarily be like, oh my
Yeah.
God. Like,
Well, I think you
stripped
wouldn't.
me of my
I think
identity.
you wouldn't, but some people definitely would.
Yeah,
It'd
because
be-
America, to your point, I mean, I don't know if you're getting at this, but like it is overly sensitive.
That's what I'm getting
It is
at, yeah.
overly sensitive for sure.
yeah.
Like I just like even in New York, you know, like all the African cab drivers, they're, where are you from? And I just say China. I'm just from China. Let's talk about the infrastructure project going on in Congo. Let's do it. Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm just
Yeah.
like, I get what you know what I mean, and I know enough about what's
Yeah.
going on. You know,
Okay. Have you been to like there's definitely some places in Bangkok. I mean, obviously Bangkok is a very multicultural city, but there's definitely some areas or some places that are more geared towards one group or another. Like for example, have you been I'm curious if you've been to like any bars or nightclubs that are like more Asian focused versus like Western?
for sure. Like I went to a GOT yesterday.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's like all it was. I felt like I was in
Yeah, it's all
like Vegas, but
so-
like Tao or something like that. You know, like was it Omnia? It was all
So
Asian.
GOT is like a cocktail bar, kind of maybe not quite a nightclub, loungy kind of place.
Yeah, once. But
Yeah.
I
But
feel like it's
everybody's
a
Asian, like-
little bit.
So
like,
would you
small
say
for me.
it's? Would you say there are a lot of other Asians there, or just Thai? Because when I went, I feel like it was mostly Thai.
Thai?
I saw some. You know, you saw the mainland Chinese guy from from Dongbei that was dripped out in like Burberry Balenciaga.
Yeah, they definitely have a look.
like logo mania head to toe. The outfit cost like 3,000 US. But they didn't put any product in their hair. Like, yeah.
I love these are what I'm thinking, but like I feel like I'm not allowed to make some of these observations.
Dude,
so I
you-
love that you say it
You
out loud.
ethnic, man. I count you as ethnic. I wouldn't be offended if you said something because I'd be like, yeah, I could. We talk about Armenian
So
culture. Too, you know?
yeah, sure. And then unfortunately, I've met exactly one Armenian here, and he's actually a big YouTuber, and I had no idea. His name is I don't want to mess up his name, but his channel is Live Love Thailand. So,
Okay, I didn't know. Yeah,
yeah,
shout out to
I
him.
didn't know. But have you been to like Route 66 or any places in the RCA area?
I heard about it.
Okay, because my friend loves it there. You know, he's like a white dude. But when you go there, it's mostly Koreans, Chinese, Japanese, and Thai, and we'll be like the only two Western guys there.
Right.
And
Is that weird or do you like it or?
It's not good or bad. I mean, it's not good. There's some good things and some bad things. Like for example, like
Are the people aren't like, hey, go back to Nana.
well, I think no, I think the Koreans definitely. There's definitely I think a rivalry with the Koreans a little bit because
Koreans are the most proud.
there's
the most
been this
alpha. Yeah.
I feel like there's been this big
Yeah.
influx of tall, handsome Korean guys that if you know what I'm talking about, Ern? Yeah. See, I'm not
That's a
imagining
place,
it,
You know.
but and a lot of I think a lot, especially the girls that go to a place like that, they like Asian guys.
Yes, true.
So maybe they don't care as much about
Yeah.
Actually, Ern, can you explain this Sai Faw and Sai Gao? I don't know if David, if you've heard of this before.
Well, Sai Faw, it's mean like it's from for Farang, foreigners that more like the Western guy and
It's a term to describe the girl.
the girl
Baccarat.
and the looks.
Sai Faw, like
Yeah.
foreigner.
Sai Faw could be the girl that just some of them try to look like Latina girl, like blonde hair,
I've seen that.
some stuff like that. Kim Kardashian, let's
I
say
saw
like that.
the
Sai
girls
Faw.
with the BBL and they had the Kim Kardashian on the screensaver, but they were tied.
Yeah. And then
yeah.
Sai Gao. Wait,
Sai Gao, it's
but
just
that's
like,
that word is Korean.
Gao, it's from Gaoli, which is mean Korean. Like for the girls that love Asian, could be Korean, Japanese, Chinese.
So you're saying
and they
this-
look more like white skin, not like tan like this.
Right.
Little girls.
So that's just going to show you like what culture they leaned into or they find more aspirational.
Yes.
And I think that Thailand is so unique in that way because you have a lot of, Thais could look like a lot of different things. There's Indian Thais that grew up here for many generations, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. So it is actually, I think it's a lot more multicultural than
Yeah.
in America what we think.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's like a real multicultural society. It's been for like centuries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's at a weird, like geography wise, it's kind of in an interesting spot between like India and China.
Yeah, but actually it's not just Sai for foreigners like Western and Sai Gao for Asian, but it also have like, Sai Arab, like Arab. Like,
that's a thing?
That's also have, but I really Sai Arab, it could be more like chubby girls, you know.
Oh yeah, that's
Just-
funny.
Yeah,
I think I've
because
seen
like
that.
some of my friends also like, you know, Arab, Indian.
But do they like? Would
it
they?
has-
Would the girls say that? Be like, yeah, I'm Sai Faw, I'm Sai Arab, I'm Sai. Gao."
Mostly people say Sai Faw Sai Gao, but for other term of like that they like Arab or Indian or they like black guy, they don't usually have like what they have to call
What?
themselves.
I don't know if this is a fair question, but like, which one are you? If you had to.
For me,
Yeah,
Sai
what-
Faw because I like Western.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Is this like Harry
But
Potter where you?
it's not just of
That's
my
what I was gonna
looks,
say, but I don't wanna- I
but
don't
it
wanna
just
say.
maybe it can be from what you like, so you can say that you are a Sai Faw because you like Western. It's not maybe I don't have to look like Kim Kardashian, but I like
And-
Farang.
And I think the cool thing is, like, with the Buddhism here, it's so accepting that, like, you know how in another culture you see this, but people can't say it.
Yeah.
But here they can just say it. 'Cause
Yeah,
they're
I
just
like that.
There's no like tribalism about like, because people are always going to live their life how they live their life. But sometimes you can't even call people out because it's like bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
like people are going to be like, oh, what does this connotation, where do the dominoes lead or whatever? But it's like here, look, everybody's just like calling it out.
Yeah.
Like they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no
want to be
filter here.
Western,
They just
Eastern, you
Yeah.
know?
And one more, actually, they have like ABC, which is mean American born Chinese, like not the real Asian, but it's more like for me, like you who can like speak English well. Some
The new and improved
there's
version.
Yeah, so there's a term of for ABC. So it's called American born Chinese.
Did you tell me before like there's certain girls that specifically target these American Asians?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the best of
'Cause
both
it's
worlds.
not
They
like
get their
you-
Asian, but then they get all the stuff in America.
mixed
You know, yeah, yeah.
culture, you know, not good. Some, you know, for example, some Chinese people, if like two Asian, like they don't speak English at all, it's just hard for them. But for most of my friends, they prefer that, okay, you're Asian, so you know how to treat women like in the Asian way, but you also kind of chill like a Western. That's why we have like this term, ABZ.
So would that be like Sai ABC?
Sai ABC could be. You are ABC.
Yeah,
This is
no.
you. This is Sai Faw.
No, for sure, for sure. I mean, hey, listen, guys. Ern said it. If you're an ABC guy, come to
Yeah.
Bangkok.
We have some Thai girls that watch this, so Thai girls that watch this. So you know, if you like ABC,
Yeah.
drop a comment down below. There was another term that came up before Ern. Some girl told me, "Oh yeah, I know what your type is," and I said, "You do?" And she said some word. I'm like, "What does that mean?" She's like, "Oh, it's like the drug dealer's girlfriend." What was that phrase?
Drug dealers. I don't remember.
It's kinda like an
in
ABG,
Thai.
right?
But the way she
what that is?
described it, it was like, you know, girl with like maybe dyed hair, tattoos, gold jewelry, something like that.
But you know what ABG is?
Ah,
No.
Song Saw.
Song
That-
saw, yeah,
Yeah,
that.
Song Saw. So it's what he said, like tattooed and a little lip filler, and you know,
Yeah, from the underworld. I mean,
And
it's like, it's
also
a
have,
it's a street look. Like it's
gold necklace, and that's a term of Song Saw.
in Singapore they call it alien
Alien.
and abeng. That's their term for like gangster boy, gangster
Yeah.
girl.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
like because it kind of shows that like gangster culture
Yeah.
or like whatever you want to call it outside of the law, tax-free
Yeah.
lifestyles, they kind of like mimic each other like globally.
Yeah, and the gangster
Yeah.
guy, it's called Song A. Song Saw and Song A, they always be a couple.
Oh, this is good material, man.
Yeah. What did you say? SBG?
ABG.
ABG. What's
Asian
that?
baby girl, Asian baby gangster.
Oh.
This is like from the Asian American world. Like, you know what I
Okay.
mean? Like, Jack Harlow actually rapped about it in his song with
Asian
Jungkook.
baby girl.
Okay.
He's like, yeah.
Now that you say it like that, I kind of get it.
No, you seen it in Boston, it's Dorchester. You know, it's
Yeah,
like,
well, I don't see. I didn't.
You probably didn't hang out in
See,
Dorchester.
listen, I wasn't hitting up any Asian baby girls in Boston. That's for sure.
Right.
Like, do you think when you came to Thailand, were you thinking a lot of people come to Thailand because they have like an Asian thing and they want to find an Asian girl? Was that on your mind at all or no?
You mean what I think about like
Not now.
people like you or
Well, no. Well, no, because I didn't come here
Right,
for
right,
anything
right,
to do
right,
with relationships or girls or whatever. But maybe it's not as much of a thing now because there's so much social media
Yeah.
around Thailand.
I let's be honest here. That for the longest time in the West, the image of Thailand was like sex trafficking, right? Of oftentimes the image was minors. You know what I mean? Dude in a Hawaiian shirt, sunglasses, bucket hat, old, you know what I mean? Creepy white dude. He's probably in Laos now, you know what I mean? Like in 2025, because Thailand sort of like weeded it out more so, right? But I think that was the image for a long time in America for like decades, you know? And but now it's changing, right? Because like there's more, you know, like I'm a very wholesome type of creator. I'm here, you know what I mean? I don't even swear on my channel, and you know.
Okay.
You're a wholesome guy.
Well, you know, to an extent.
Yeah.
I still like my, what is it called again?
You still
the
Italian,
Asian baby girl? Yeah.
Song Saw.
Yeah. I need to need to
Really?
find a new song saw,
Okay.
whatever.
So do you end up with a lot of man, I'm sorry,
Song Saw.
some Western girls?
I thought it was
Maybe
funny.
just the looks, but it's not like a real Song Saw that you met.
Yeah, because
just the looks.
I was dating one girl and she was aware of another girl I had been dating. And she's like, oh, that girl your look is this. And
But I guess did the Thai girls that you dated only date other foreigners? Like after they broke up with you, they went and dated another foreigner?
no, my first Thai girlfriend is currently dating a Thai guy.
Okay.
But I find that in talking to a lot of Thai women, they usually have a strong preference one way or another.
Right, like they have a type and they're gonna stick with the archetype, right? Like I buy trucks. I'm gonna buy trucks. My next car is gonna be a truck too.
I've met a lot of Thai women that have never dated a Thai guy, like not even when they were younger or whatever.
Right.
So that was kind of interesting to me. I always wonder what it's like from the Thai guys' end. Like, do Thai guys ever have a preference for foreigner women or?
I think some, but very less. Because let's say, I think Thai guy don't try to speak English that much like Thai girls. That are what I've seen. But you know, in some people, okay, who you see from the clubs and party, the guy do speak some English, but normally average you can see that Thai guys don't speak English that much. So that's why they don't have they want a friend girlfriend, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just way different being a guy and being a girl. You know what I mean? Like I think Asian dudes, we gotta like, you know, that's one of the things that I kind of talk about on my channel, right? Like, you know, for whatever reason, we gotta do things, or you know, just.
Well, I wonder if there's ever any like animosity among the Thai men with foreigners, because maybe they feel like the foreigners come in here, they scoop up the girls and whatever. And I wonder like a lot of times in their inner circles, like what they think about that. Because
I feel like Thais could, if anybody could handle it with as much aplomb as possible, it would be Thai people due to the Buddhist culture. But of course, like think about it with any other group of dudes, for sure there's some level of sense that it's unfair, or there's resentment, or you're born on the losing side of a dynamic or a dichotomy.
But also, you know, I always try to remind myself that a lot of what I experience is such a small portion of Thailand, because I'm in Bangkok, and even the areas that I spend time in, like where you've been to, is probably been mostly foreigners. So of course, or like a more foreigner heavy area. So of course, the people that you run into, the women, that, you know, whoever, they're going to be more like open to being in relationships with foreigners. But if you go to like your hometown, how many Farang are there with Thai women?
Have some, but not that many.
Yeah.
But mostly old guy.
Yeah, it's probably
like
rare. So
yeah,
I mean,
rare, pretty
Thailand
rare.
just isn't this one corner of Bangkok. So maybe it's kind of like overrepresented in my head.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I mean, our experience, I mean, it's just like your experience in America, right? Like I think we're aware of like other races or other people's experiences in America, because you know how there's so much media and like stuff like that, but we can never really know what it's like to be even another color growing up in America, you know? So for sure, you know. But yeah, no, I think that it's really interesting because Bangkok does cater to foreigners. Like you said, you have an Arab district, you have an Indian district, you have a Korean district, a Japanese district. Hoi Kwong is like, someone told me it's for like gray market Chinese that do like even there's so many Chinese. It's like there's like the illegal Chinese go there, the proper Chinese are in Tonglo and Ekamai.
Whenever the police bust some like Chinese scam operation or like
illegal gambling,
yeah, it's always
Hoi Kwong.
there. Yeah.
I'm not a Hoi Kwong Chinese, by the way, guys.
But where have you been going out since you've been here?
I mean, I really like Tonglo and Ekamai.
Yeah,
to be honest.
I saw you went to the office.
Yeah.
So the office is well, why don't you describe it?
Well, it's just like a very ritzy coffee shop, right? But it's like kind of owned by international Thai. I'm sure they went to international school, so it's kind of got that flavor.
I liked
on
the
it.
way you described the people there. I forgot exactly what you said, but it was like dead on. It was like, these are not the everyday Thai people you meet around. You
And
know?
I think I even like, I was talking to a lot of like international Thais, and they were telling me that there's even 2 different types of like really rich Thais. Like some people go to international school and they receive a Western education, but there's other people who go to Thai only schools, and I see them at Tonic.
At where?
Tonic in Ekamai.
I don't know what that is. Wait, is that building yellow?
No, it's white.
Okay, I don't
It's
know.
like
that
new,
one.
but it's like for the Thai rich kids that are like, they prefer to speak Thai and listen to like, you know, live Thai rock music and stuff.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Okay, I got you.
But so then I didn't know that because for some reason I just assumed that everybody, I don't know, it was quite ignorant of me, I guess, and I've been corrected. But like, it's not everybody that has a ton of money in Thailand just automatically sends their kids to like college in the West and like high school, like a Western high school. It's up to like the desires of the family of like what world they want to live in. You know, I think like that's like kind of what we're talking about, right? Like what world do you want to live in? And Bangkok is a very unique place because like, let's say for example, we're in Tokyo, right? You really only have the Japanese world to live in. Yeah, you do have a big expat scene, you know, whatever. But like because I think Thai people are so Buddhist and they're so malleable and so multicultural here, and people are very accepting. It's almost like you know how like you just be like, no, I want to be Western. No, I want to be East Asian. No, I want to be whatever. And everybody's just like, okay, go. You know, but and you know, in another culture, the parents
like
would be
Japan,
tight.
that would be no way.
They would be like this. You know what I mean? Like that's bad.
So on this trip, actually, I saw you before you came out here. You kept saying, "I'm gonna be in Thailand for like November and December," but we're in January now.
Right.
So what happened?
I just signed a 6-month lease in Ekamai.
Oh my God! Ladies and gentlemen. He's fallen into the black hole. Yeah. Me too. This is how it happens.
This is a common story.
This is okay. I mean, we all have basically the same story. I came here for a week. I was like, oh, this is great. I came back for a week. I'm like, I'm going to go for a month. I go for a month. Next thing you know, I have a little cat I adopted. Now I'm staying another extra month. I flew back to the US. I came right back. So you're now.
Do you think if you were a betting man, because we never know, right? Life, who knows?
Yeah.
Nobody thought LA was gonna like catch on fire like that, right? Like,
well, some people knew.
You know, the quants of the insurance company, State Farm, they knew. But like, do you think you'll be like spend the rest of your life in Thailand?
It's hard to say because you don't know how things will change. But I will say I'm very happy here in a way that I wasn't in Boston. So yeah, I could see staying here.
Were you a masshole? Like, were you like giving me the finger at a Celtics game?
No, that's the thing. Game? That's why it's just such an unhappy life there. Everybody's miserable. You know, after after I came to Thailand for a month, just do my like month-long thing, I went back. And the first day I'm back, I went to a Panera Bread. It's like a bakery cafe place. And just the way the staff acts, like they hate their job, they hate their life. And I ordered 2 things and she's like, you want an extra bag? And I was like, oh yeah, that'd be great. And she's like, oh, and she walks away. Like that would never happen in Thailand. You know, people here, even if they don't have the best job, even if their life is very hard, they have some kind of, I don't know what the word is. I'm not saying they're happy with their life, but maybe some kind of pride in their job or some kind of, I don't know what it is. But
yeah, I mean, it's a starkly different culture.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's why people like the land of smiles, right? And stuff like that. But I think that one thing that I did think about though is like, you know how like all the foreigners we come in, and I'm not like, you know, because I know some people are gonna probably watch this and be like, oh, this guy thinks he's Asian, so he's above it all or whatever. Like, nah, it's not true. Like everybody is here doing like arbitrage or is more privileged. You know, they're from a place where their dollar is stronger or just like, you know what I mean, your money goes farther. But I just think that I did think about like how can people who are here from somewhere else, from a more privileged position, like how can they add value to people? But I guess all I could really think of was be nice and maybe like tip on your Grab or tip on your whatever scooter, you know what I mean? Like, because you think about it, you're coming here, you're not from the culture, but usually the Thai people are more often than not, of course there's rich Thais, right? But like they're more often than not like serving you, you know what I mean, for really cheap, for like a service that's markedly like a 20% of the price of back in whatever first world country we come from.
Yeah, it's a very complex topic and I don't have any answers. I remember the first night I was here that I moved here, I felt like a cheeseburger. Don't ask me why. Just maybe it was the long flight. It felt like a cheeseburger.
It's a typical American thing to do. I did the same thing too.
I went to the mall and I ordered a cheeseburger and fries, and I remember it came to $14 US dollars. And I was like, wow. I went to Importier, right? And at this time, I was new. I didn't know. I thought like Thailand is cheap because right next to this mall are like basically it's not a slum, but it's very low income housing, right? So I'm like, how is this possible that you have such expensive things right next to, you know, basically poverty? And the wealth gap, people talk about the wealth inequality in America. I think it's nothing compared to here.
No, it's
There's
not even
such a wide gap.
I've seen homeless people in New York with an iPhone. I'm not saying they all do, but I'm just saying I've seen it. You never see it, but you know, somebody impoverished in a third world country would never ever be able to get.
But I don't know if like the foreign influence is a good thing, a net good thing, or a net bad thing. Because on one hand, it's bringing a lot more money in, a lot more reason to build infrastructure,
foreign capital and cash inflows.
Yeah. So as far as like wealth inequality, what have you noticed here, or how do you think the foreign influence is helping or hurting that?
Well, you know, to your point, the foreign influx of cash for people basically consuming things, right? Ordering grabs, doing massage, et cetera, you know, there's hidden things too, but whatever. But the more obvious things, that brings in a pool of capital, right? But I don't know what the foreigners can do to influence the administration or leadership. You know, there's a lot of talk about corruption or misappropriation of funds. How can we as foreigners, we're just here, you know, some of us are more, I guess, aware of these issues than others. But at the end of the day, it's almost like more on a local administration or country level to distribute it properly, and whether that's universal basic services or universal, you know, just the universal basic systems that more impact all tiers of society versus like somebody, you know, pocketing it at the top.
Yeah.
But it's true, like in general, every country, you know, you could argue that America is becoming more corrupt, but America for the long time was a very uncorrupt country. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
Like that's what allowed it to be it had the rule of law, became so powerful. But then it's like here, it probably is like sometimes like a 7 out of 10, you know what I mean? Like 10 out of 10 being like max corruption, you know what I mean? But like, is it on a downtrend or is it a plateau or is it an uptrend?
Yeah.
So I guess all we could do is like, as foreigners, is hope that it goes down, you know, from like, let's say for example, it's 7 out of 10 corrupt, then it goes down to 6 and then it goes down to 5, like with every successive generation.
Yeah. I don't know too much about Thai politics, to be honest with you. I try to follow it, but I find it a little bit difficult. Do you have any? Can you tell us anything about? No, you don't know.
I also don't know really much about the Thai politics.
Yeah,
but you know what I'm saying, right? Like, and some people could argue that America is the baseline for corruption is quite low, but maybe it's even seems like, you know, does it seem like it's even going up right now from like a 2 to a 3 or like, I don't know. You know, you guys tell me in the comments.
There's definitely, you know, the last however many years, the last decade has definitely been an interesting time in American history.
It looks like the empire's a little creaky, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, the fact that I think there's a huge movement of people out of the U.S. now is a bad omen. So I think Thailand has the record for like the most coups in the last 100 years or something.
Yeah, but it's like crazy because and I do acknowledge this, but it's like, what are we supposed to do? I don't know if we're just supposed to feel bad about it, but like we're not actually subject to it as non-Thai locals.
Yeah.
Right. Like we'll never worry about the misappropriation of, you know, how different systems are built or not built that are promised.
Well, you said something that actually made me think, you know, the influx of like the foreign influence, the foreign money, all this stuff, it can probably be, some people could look at that, some government or some whatever could look at that and maybe use it to their advantage. And then others could just kind of squander it. And so I think
cash flows are energy, right?
Remains to be seen.
Like, how are you going to cook that energy or jujitsu it or redistribute it? It's not up to us, right?
Now you, on this trip, you also went to Cambodia and you went to Vietnam?
Yeah, I went to Cambodia. I went to Vietnam.
Okay, so tell me, I have not been to Vietnam. I have been to Cambodia. How would it, like, as someone that's traveling did you go there before or is this first trip for those two?
First trip.
Okay, so this is your first time in this part of the world.
I've been to Singapore and Malaysia a lot.
Oh, okay. So, first time Thailand, Vietnam, Cambodia. Yeah. How would you compare those, like, bird's eye view?
I think they all share the Mekong River. So it's like, there's even shared vocabulary in the languages. You know what I mean? Like when I was in Cambodia, they say sabai.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they say sawadi.
Yeah,
Sabadi,
because some Thai people also can speak like in the Cambodian, also like from Surin because it's like the border,
yeah, like
and
some of
also maybe the Thai language is also from like
But
Cambodia.
what was your
the
impression
food is
as
similar.
as
But
far-
long story short, like I would say Cambodia, man, obviously with the genocide and everything, it was such in a terrible position, but I think it's going to come up. Like it's got a good arc, it depends on how they educate their populace and if maybe they can get on tech or, you know what I mean? It just depends on, but I think they're on an upward arc. I didn't see like, how like, I'm sure like, even when I was talking to Thai people or Viet people, I said I was going to go to Cambodia. They're like, don't go. It's so dangerous. Like,
yeah, they
But
have
you
like
wouldn't
the
go.
negative thoughts about Cambodia.
you hear it called Scambodia and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
A
and I'm not
lot.
saying that like a lot of stereotypes, they're driven from something, right? But I just think that it's over attributed. And I think Cambodia's probably 35 years behind Thailand.
I agree.
Vietnam's probably 20
Yeah.
years behind, 15 to 20,
Yeah.
depending on if they get on tech and microchips or whatever, behind Thailand. And then Thailand's probably 20 years behind Singapore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like
actually
levels.
there's some like I was surprised because when I was there one in Cambodia and I saw like there's like Big C, the thing that's from Thailand, the products from Thailand, like a lot of things that take from Thailand. So I think
And sometimes they don't even
Yeah.
rebadge it. Like
Yeah.
the 7-Eleven in Phnom Penh is just it literally is toasties and everything.
Oh, really? How long were you there?
Like 6 days.
What did you do there?
I have a good Cambodian friend. Like his parents are, that he has some family in the government. So I was getting, I saw the high to the low. But yeah, I was like I said, I guess would you go back to Cambodia?
maybe some another part. I went to Phnom Penh and I see it's not that really like because when I compare it to Bangkok, it's just
It's just years. It's just years behind, right?
Yeah, 20, 30 years behind. And like, when I see the road, the street, it's just not that convenient compared to Thailand,
Yeah.
compared to Bangkok.
But I guess if it depends on what type of person you are, right? Like how we were even talking about there's different types of even like foreigners or Farans or whatever, you know what I mean? Like you have talk with was it Thai with Patty?
Thai
Yeah,
talk
Thai
with
talk with
Patty.
Patty.
Like that
yeah.
dude seems like he really cares, right? Like he loves culture. He like
Yeah, yeah.
learns the
Yeah.
language. He speaks like I don't even know how many languages. He speaks Mandarin. He speaks Thai well. Like you know what I mean? This guy's like I'm not saying everybody got to be like that. Sometimes some people use out dopamine chasing or whatever like that. Just dopamine arbitrage. But it's like if you're interested in developing countries and seeing probably what Thailand was like 50, X amount of years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not bad. And then Vietnam is coming up too. But interestingly enough, some people think that, listen guys, people are gonna go crazy and come. Some people think that Vietnam may surpass Thailand in the future, but not right now.
Interesting.
But like maybe like in 40 years or something like that. Like,
What is the reason?
I think a really strong educational system.
Okay, I can see that.
Like even in the rural areas.
Okay.
You know what
That
I mean?
makes a lot of
because
sense.
theoretically, when you have an educated populace now,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They can
Yeah. Yeah.
value chain and things like that.
Yeah. Would you recommend for like American or Westerners, if they were thinking about moving to Southeast Asia, any advice for them between like Vietnam, Cambodia, and Thailand?
Oh, man, if you love developing countries, you gotta go to not Thailand, because Bangkok specifically is developed, right? But for most people, let's be honest, like, and even me, like, I'm talking all this stuff, like, well, who am I? Like, I'm not any much better than any other person. You know what I mean? Of course, it's gonna be Bangkok, because you can live a life that's like quite similar to a first world country, depending on the district that you live in.
Yeah.
For much
There's
cheaper.
very little sacrifice now.
What is something that's changed? Like from 5, because you moved here 5 years ago, right?
2019.
What sacrifices were you making where you're like, I'm not even making that sacrifice anymore? It's just one to one. And I wanted to ask you that off camera. Like I wanted to ask you, like, what is it like for you? Because you said you're from Isaan, right?
Yeah, from Isaan.
Are you from like a don't kill like a village?
No, not really. Actually, in the center, like, pretty convenient. Yeah.
But like, what is it like for you, like being now in Bangkok, where it became so westernized and advanced over time, where it's almost it's almost like you're living in the West. But
for
you're not living in
living,
the West.
when I was like here for the first time, I was super nervous because about the transportation, it seems so like complicated for me. But once I've been here for a while, I feel that it's very convenient, very easy. While compared to my, home city, I feel like it's less convenient. And also, I think it's not about the way of living. It's not that different. For me, it's pretty similar, but it's about like the thoughts of the people, their attitude. Because when people live in Bangkok, they feel more like try to chase for the opportunity, try to, you know, do things and stuff. When
Big city dreams.
yeah, but when it's in my hometown, people more just like, I don't think I can catch that opportunity. I think it can be just a waitress forever. I think I can just make the, so I feel like I was happy because I feel like, oh, this is great because there's some good thing and bad thing here, but it's more better, like the way of your thinking about life.
Do you ever like think it's like too Western though, or too like, let's just say Japanese or
mixed.
something? You know what I mean?
It's combination.
You're like, oh, this is not even Thai anymore. It's like catering to so many different
it
people from other
depends
parts
on
of the
you.
world, know?
It's also about like the people who you surround with. You can go too Western in Bangkok, but you know, I have lots of foreigner friends, but I also have lots of Thai friends, so I can balance it. You don't have to be too Western, and you just still in the Thai culture, still respects the people, still that's what I mean. Yeah.
Right. So you're saying you like the options.
Yeah, the options and the way people think about their future, you know. So I think it's better than my home city.
Eric, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about like the more ratchet foreigners? You know what I mean? Like I've been seeing it on like IG, especially like a lot of like, I don't know, they seem like, I'm not saying that I'm not fully making a judgment. I'm just taking a look. It's like a lot of like failed like Central C type rapper dudes from the UK. And then like I see them like making a lot of content in
Really?
Bangkok. You know what I mean? That's the vibe I get. Like
okay. I don't know if I know exactly like the type of people you're talking about, but there is like a weird mix of foreigners here. Like let's go down the list. So you have like the original, what did you call them for? The older guys with the bucket hats and the
sex pets.
Well, yeah, but how did you describe them? You had a word for it.
Child molesters.
Well, okay. Let's not jump to
no. But I'm saying that was the stereotype.
Yeah.
Though. I'm not saying, by the way, who knows?
I call them frogmen. They all dress the same. They have usually like they're usually older, usually white gentlemen. Maybe they're not usually in shape. They're usually like oversized shirt, cargo shorts, sandals. If you go to Pattaya, have you been there? Pattaya?
Yeah, I went for Rolling Loud.
Okay. If you go there, it's full of these frogmen.
Oh yeah, I saw it a lot. I saw like dudes getting drunk at like 1 p.m.
Well, what I knew, if you go there, it's weird. I've said this before on this show, but like I was in a Starbucks there, just like working, and I look up, it's like 1 p.m, and I'd see like this guy here by himself, this guy here by himself. There's like 5 or 6 of these dudes in this Starbucks just by themselves, just hanging out. I'm like, that's weird. And I realized, oh, they came to this city for the activities and they're just waiting for all like the bars and stuff to open.
Right.
That's a very interesting existence. But I feel like Thailand was kind of known, stereotyped for this kind of tourism before.
People thought that that's the only type of person that
but I think that's getting less and less, or at least the other stuff is growing more. So that's one thing, not to hate on anyone. So sorry if you like to hang out in Pattaya with the sandals and the, if I see you at Starbucks,
you offended like 25% of your youth fan base right now.
But then I see a lot of the, like when I got here, it was a lot of like the digital nomad people. People that are like, oh, I'm doing my own online business.
That's like a last 5-year thing. Like almost like COVID.
Well,
time.
I think there was kind of like 2 waves. So before I noticed a lot of these digital nomad types that are on kind of like small budgets, and they like Asia because, you know, they have their business online, but they're not making like $100,000 a year.
Right. They got like a whack Amazon shop.
Yeah.
They're not booming with the,
But now I'm meeting like guys at Starbucks that are like, oh, I'm making this AI startup and blah, 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 blah. And it's like those people are coming.
Yeah.
So it's totally different.
Yeah, you see a larger scale of like, there was people who were like trading Bitcoin on a small level, but now Bangkok is getting people who hold like $30 million in Bitcoin. Yeah, that's to your point, and I think that it's just really changing, and
like the reason
I'm part of that, I guess.
I think a big reason before for people coming here, and it still is a big reason, but is the cost of living, right? Low cost of living, high quality of life, right? I think the cost has gone up, but the quality of life is so good here. I think it's attracting people that they have other options. Yeah, they could stay in LA, but why am I going to stay in LA when I can go hang out at the office in Tan Lo and get like, you know, good food and look at all the cute Thai girls that are to hang out there and whatever. And I don't know, it's becoming an option for a lot more people, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look at Bali right now.
Oh yeah. So that,
Like,
but that's
you know,
the,
it's just like for people, like basically Bali is almost like Bangkok, whether it's on the expat side, you know, with the digital nomads, but they just believe they can like talk to a tree.
yeah.
Like that's just like the
No,
Bali.
I haven't been to Bali, but I would imagine that there's some big differences because Bangkok is a huge mega city. And with that, you have a lot of opportunities that you might not have in Bali, like as far as like startups and running in a real business here. You know,
Yeah, venture capital. You
yeah,
have
like
access
that.
to like private equity meetings.
That's what I mean. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong because I haven't been to
No,
Bali.
for
I don't
sure,
know
for
the
sure. I
Bali
mean,
thing.
Bangkok feels a lot like New York mixed with like Hawaii.
Hmm.
To me, like I don't know if you've ever been to Hawaii or
No, I haven't.
Yeah, like it. There's elements of like Oahu mixed with
Okay.
like Manhattan or like specifically Queens. Like there's like because with the trains and stuff like that. So, I mean, at the end of the day, man, I just got to give you props because I think what you're doing is dope because you set up like a really dope home studio. It looks like a real studio, and you are sort of taking the initiative. And I don't know if you know, it's very, in my mind, it's very American. You know what I mean? What you're doing, and got a great co-host and stuff like that. And thanks for having me on. And just like, I just think, you know, Bangkok is amazing. Obviously, depending on, you know, your situation that you were born into in life and what your goals are and the balance of things that you like to have. But obviously it's clear that a lot of people are coming here and loving it and staying for much, much, much longer than they originally anticipated.
Yeah. One of the reasons I wanted to start this in this kind of format is because, you know, I'd go back to the US and I'd tell people like, oh, I was in Thailand or whatever. And they would think it's weird. And they had this picture in their mind of what it's like in Thailand. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, these are the people I met. This is this guy. And I'm like, oh, if I could just show the people that I come into contact with, that I meet. And it's everyone from, you know, people that own restaurants and bars and nightclubs to, you know, YouTubers, digital nomads, porn stars, like yeah, everybody,
Every walk of life, right?
Yeah.
And just
Yeah.
like, man, kudos to you, man, because
Well, thank you.
and it's just like, yeah, like you. I don't even know how many. I would imagine in Boston how many ladyboy jokes you got.
Well, that's always the first joke. That's always number one. Is the someone's kinda
ladyboys,
Yeah,
Eric?
yeah. I've already. I don't know if you saw. If you haven't, maybe you can see later. But I did a whole episode of my ladyboy experiences here.
Yeah.
So you can go take a look at that. David, thanks you for coming by. How much longer are you going to be here now? You said 6 months you signed a contract?
Yeah. So I guess I got like 4 more months remaining on it.
All right.
But like staying in hotels was getting expensive, so.
Well, I hope you have the best time in Thailand. And if you guys want to know where all the cool places are to hang out in Bangkok, where David likes to meet the Asian baby girls, and some of my favorite places to get Pad Kaphrao, hit the subscribe button, subscribe to the Clips channel, check us out on Apple and Spotify podcasts, buy us a coffee, and if you see us out in Bangkok, say hi.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I appreciate you.
We will see you in the next one, guys. See you.